Hello and welcome to Growing People. I'm John Losey, and today we are fortunate enough to have Lance Wilcox here, who is somebody who I've known for quite a while and grown to love. We have discovered many things about how people really learn and grow. So Lance, welcome.
Well, thank you, John, and I love you too.
When you were a designer and then you started facilitating and presenting, what are maybe a couple of 2-3 of the key things that you learned when you started presenting that have helped you become a better designer?
Well, I still go, okay, one of it is certainly clarity around objectives, and not just the so-called, quote, terminal objectives in a course, but the specific objectives that are behind any activity you would have in the course, right? You always, there's a reason why you're doing an activity. It's not just to have fun, although I think that's important actually, but usually there's an objective, there's some teaching points, and so I've realized as a developer that I need to be clear about that for literally every piece of content or activity in my course. So that'd be one of them. Second, that goes back to, it's the concept of less is more, right? That back in the old days when I built a facilitator guide, man, I'd script out the whole thing. And of course, nobody used it. And you might read it once, and then that would be it. And, working with John, we came up with a much more, streamlined facilitator guide that I think is actually useful. So it's really, it'll, for each activity or section of the curriculum, it would have the, here's the objective for this piece, here's the main kind of teaching points or content points, and here's some tips for facilitating it. And then space for you to add your own notes for a story, the personalized story that the facilitator might want to give then. So that would be, I think, the number 2 thing, again, being, focused on objectives and less is more. The other thing, I think the final thing I learned as a facilitator is really the importance of listening and kind of personalizing everything I do to my audience. So even if I've delivered this course 100 times, it's always going to be different for every group because I'm going to listen to them, give them opportunities to share their stories, and then take their stories and kind of call back to those throughout through the day. I never really thought about that as a developer.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is that you learned a clear focus on objectives, less is more, and listening not only make you a better facilitator, but also help you become an even better designer.
Yeah, no, I would agree.